Welcome to Spin Justice with me, Hayley Owens, the podcast where I'll be talking about anything from health and fitness to the injustices of the world and everything in between. I've worked within the criminal justice system for over 20 years and have more recently taken to teaching indoor cycling, otherwise known as spin. Each week I'll be talking to a different guest about a topic that's personal to them, whether it be to raise awareness or just because. Most episodes will contain strong language because of who I am as a person, so if that's not for you, then probably best to swerve. Any opinions expressed by me are my own. Welcome, Katie Heliwell.
Hello, my darling.
I feel like we're best friends
I
already.
know, I feel like I've known you years.
I know. We've had one chat on the phone about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now we're like, we can't stop yabbering away. We've been downstairs filming ourselves. Carl's heard it all. Bless him. We've got so much to fit in. And I know I sent you a plan, but there's probably going to be bits that I go off on a tangent. So
I love it. I think the best conversations are the ones that go off schedule, don't you think?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I really do. And also I wanted to say, I was thinking about this morning. If I say something wrong, correct me. Okay. So I'm really interested in what you do. But if I say it I don't want to say the wrong titles for things. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course. Yeah.
So, because I know your Instagram pages and your Facebook pages is Spirit.
Yes.
So I don't want to say, oh, you're a psychic. And
no, I am.
I know you are. I know you are. So actually, I want to talk about what we talked about on the phone, going right back to when you were like a toddler.
Oh, God. Okay.
And how and when I bet you didn't really realise what it was at the time because you were so young, but your parents probably did. Is that right?
Yes.
So what was it that alerted your family to you having a gift?
So my mum and dad, they bought this lovely house when I was 1. And it's like one of them oldie worldy houses. Yeah. And it's really cute. They still live there now. And we walked in and apparently I was crying. I was only 1. I was crying, walking around the rooms, like wouldn't settle in the house at all. And then when I was 3, I started like jabbering and chatting and stuff. And I walked down to the bottom of the stairs one day and I started talking to this lady. And Mum said to me, she said, who are you talking to? And I was like, talking to the lady. And she's like, what lady? And I said, the lady there. And I described the lady. And they brought the house at auction, and with the house, it came with like a few little of their trinkets and stuff because they had no family. And there was this photo album. And so in this that they'd all created, because they built the house, this older couple that lived there. And so in the photo album, there's pictures of this lady. So I didn't know this. Obviously, I was 3. I described the lady. She said, what does she look like? And I said exactly what she looked like, within the baby terms. And my mum was like, oh my God, she's showing this lady. She's showing Lillian, which was her name. And I was like, she's lovely. She likes me. And I was like, she says, don't move her roses. Don't move her roses. So just to explain, outside the kitchen window, there was like a rose garden. And it was so pretty. It was so nice. And my mum wanted to dig it up and do like a barbecue patio kind of area. And my mum was like, oh my God, how does she know? How did she know we were going to dig up the patio? How did she know all this? So they got quite scared. Yeah. And thought it was a bit weird, but assumed I'd overheard a conversation or something. So they tried to rationalise it. But I didn't realise then that wasn't normal because obviously I could only see what I could see and that was it.
So you're like 3 years old or something now. And you said to me on the phone, everyone's born with a gift.
Yes.
And you can sense, you've got all 5 senses connected to spirits, haven't you?
That's it, yeah.
Which is, I think that's quite rare, isn't it?
It can be rare, but it can also be developed.
Oh, yeah. I want to come on to that. That was one of my questions.
It can be naturally opened or it can be opened. Right.
So are babies born with all 5 senses open to spirits?
Not all babies.
No.
So every child's psychic. So most children have like no filter. So obviously they don't realise what they don't know. So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So they're mostly open to receiving spirit. But over time, those senses tend to close down because we try and rationalise and, we learn what's normal, what's not normal.
Yeah.
And so we close down anything else and we become desensitised to it. But if you have a child that's psychic, they'll have all natural, like naturally open, psychic, crying in the night, nightmares, saying they're seeing things, saying they're hearing things. They've got all 5 senses activated. But if you've got a child that's maybe just kind of seeing shadows or like saying they think they can feel something, they've probably got one or two of the senses activated.
And they can continue, can't they, obviously, into adulthood. So some of them will desensitise and eventually disappear.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can carry on with one or two maybe senses activated into your adult life. That's right, isn't it?
That's right.
Because we talked about the empathy side of things. And I mean, I don't claim to be able to see or hear anything, but you said to me, do you know sometimes that you feel that you hear a little voice, like a little voice on your shoulder? I do think I've got that.
Yeah, you know, like the devil and the angel. Have you ever seen it when they crop up like the devil and the angel next to you? And you think, what's that little voice? What is that, little voice telling me?
Yeah.
And half the time you think it's like your intuition, or you think it's your thoughts, or you think it might be your fears. But most of the time, and it can be those things at times, most of the time it's your spirit guides and your angels trying to lead you and trying to nurture you and guide you in the right direction.
Because, sometimes, I don't know if you've ever feel this, well, you're well in tune, so... Yeah, I think with me, especially if I'm a bit stressed, and I think, what am I going to do about that? Like now, like this morning, I'm thinking, I really need to start getting my spin classes online.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for ages, And that little voice came and went, chill, it'll happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I know it will happen, but sometimes I give myself a hard time that I'm not working hard enough to do it, or I need to push harder at that. And just this little voice came and went, it'll happen. Don't worry.
I love that. Did you get any feelings with it, like goosebumps or?
No, I don't think so. Not that I remember, I just remember thinking, oh, how strange is that? Because I'm seeing Katie today.
Yeah.
And she told me about this. And I was like, that's what it is. It's your spirit.
Yeah.
But does it need to be someone that you know?
No. So just to add on to that, so your spirit guides would have said that to you because they only want you to create and do things from a place of like happiness and joy. And if it brings you like uplift, that's all they care about. So if you going, oh God, I've got to get it online, I've got to do it, as most of us when we run businesses, we are like, oh, I've got to get this done, tasks, then it's not bringing you joy. So you're creating from a place of stress and fear. So they'll stop you and go, you know what, don't worry, take a breath, it's okay, it'll get done. And everyone's like, oh, you're too chilled. But that is the way that spirit are. Spirit want you to be chilled. They want you to expand naturally and have fun with that.
And that is so perfectly explained because I feel like I am at my most creative when I'm relaxed.
Yeah.
My brother is a tattoo artist. I'm going to give him a shout out at the end. And he said to me years ago, I think I must have been mothering over something. And he said, just relax and it'll come to you. Just chill and it will come to you.
It's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because everything's instant in the world now. Like you've got Uber Eats, you've got cars that can be there in seconds and everything's instant. TikToks are 30 seconds long. And so you expect everything to be like, oh, I've got to do it now, I've got to do it now, I've got to do it now. But if you just slow the mind down and just have a moment, you can get peace and you can understand what the best way is.
Yeah.
And actually it excels you far quicker.
Yeah, I think for me, I've got such a creative flair, more when it comes to music and on the bike and things like that and conversations like this. And I know if I'm stressed, like this, I have to take things. I can't schedule in when I'm going to do things because I might not feel like it at that time. I might be too stressed then. So I plan my playlists week by week and I've already done next week's. I'm so ahead of schedule because I saw a window of opportunity and I went with it and my creative flair just followed.
Oh.
And then this morning I've just put my headphones in, listened to next week's playlist. I'm planning all the choreography in my head, scribble a few notes down. I'm like, right, okay.
But you know what you've just done there? That's isolated energy. So rather than doing like a playlist or planning your lesson and then also going, oh, I've got to walk the dog in 5 minutes and, oh, actually, have I done tea yet? And, oh, God, I've got to text so-and-so back. You've literally put your headphones in and gone on in a zone and gone, right, that's it, I'm here, I'm present. So your creative flows and you get it done a lot quicker, but it's better content. Yeah. So people will probably tell you those classes are the best that you've ever had. Yeah. And like, oh, I felt so on fire today. I felt a real shift in the energy and I felt like I really worked hard or I felt connected. And you'll end up with feedback like that.
I do get feedback like that.
Because you've isolated it.
I started this spin business 2 years ago, 2 years this month. And I'd been going to so many classes because I'd got injuries. And some instructors were great. And I felt really connected, like you just said. And some, I was like, I could do better than this myself. So I did. Yeah. Just went off and did the qualification and I've nurtured it over the last 2 years. And now, I mean,
I have people, I've got waiting lists, and it does reflect, the passion reflects, and that's what people say to me. I really enjoy your classes. They're by far, one of the best classes I've ever done. But it's because, and this is not knocking other instructors, but some of the PTs, say, for example, that work in the gym, they don't want to teach spin. They have to do it as part of their job. So they're a PT, and that's where their passion lies. But because they work for an organisation, they have to do so many classes.
Right.
So they don't want to do spin. It's not their flair. But it reflects, doesn't it, in the class?
Oh, I think it massively does in every industry.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't love what you do, I think it shows.
Yeah.
I think you can see and people feel it.
Yeah. And it also, I think, you look at the timetables and you look at my classes have got waiting lists, and some others might have loads of spaces, and I think, but they're not bothered because they're not as passionate about it. See, for me, I take that quite, not personally, but I've got pride in that, because I know how much work and effort and how much of the last 2 years of my life I've really ploughed into it. So anyway, going off on a tangent, as we do.
I love it.
So, the creative side and the empathy side. So when we talk about the senses, we can see, we can hear, we can feel, smell, taste. And then would you say the empathy is an extra? Or would you say that's included in those 5?
So it being the feeling, being the like emotional feeling, so clairsentient. But also there's like the knowing as well. So, when you just know something, that's another sense. And you just don't know why you know.
Like a gut.
And I use it, like I get lost all the time in the car. I don't know why. I'm just like useless in the car. So I'm always like, oh, which way am I going? Which way am I going? And then literally I'm just like, I know the way. So as soon as I go, oh, help me find the way, tune me in, let me find the direction I'm meant to go in. And I just get to the right way. So that's a sense of knowing. So that's claircognizance. So empathy is something that a lot of people do struggle with. And I actually do feel it's responsible for lots, and I know this is a very bold statement, so just bear with me. I don't want any backlash from your followers here, but I do think empathy causes a lot of like mental health illness. Yeah. Because people absorb so much energy that it's really difficult for them to kind of understand it and release it. So it's such a huge thing. And when you protect your energy and learn how to do that, a lot of my followers and a lot of my clients, their like anxiety, their stress has reduced massively because you're not taking on everyone's emotions around you, because everything carries energy. Like I was saying to you, I can't even go into an antique store. Like if I go into an antique store, I'm like, oh, it's like
what happens to you?
It's like, have you ever had tinnitus?
No, but my sons get that.
Like, it goes like a loud, like, ee, sorry everyone, but like a ee going off in your head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, because it's like a whirlwind of all those things. If you imagine like a watch was worn by 4 generations of family, that's 4 lots of energy. That's all coming at me, plus all the 4 spirits that might be on the other side, plus their ancestors. So you've got like this mass, like, and some of those antique shops are like rammed to the max, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh God. So I have to get out of there.
Because we were just saying about buying clothes and how I shop on Vinted and charity shops. It's just my thing. I don't know why. Well, I do know why we talked about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I've got an issue with spending money on myself. But you said you can't wear secondhand clothes. What do you feel if you were to put on like a secondhand jumper, for example? What would you feel?
I'd feel weird.
Would you?
So, sometimes you feel good. So if somebody had a really good vibration and say they wore a dress that was kind of, wore to a wedding, they had the best time of their lives, then I'd probably feel really good in the dress, but I don't want to risk it for a biscuit. So I just don't. So I literally feel their energy. So I don't feel myself. So I have to have brand new.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes when it's brand new, if someone's made it and they're stressed, or if they've made it and they're unhappy, I can feel it coming through the door. So I'm just like, I've got a wand, like a selenite wand. I just wand down the bags and wand down the clothes to remove it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because that's how, when you really heighten all your skills and your abilities, you can feel it that in depth, which it's not anything to be thinking, oh God, how am I going to maintain all of that energy? And it's not meant to be a stress to you, but it is something you need to be mindful of. The more connected you become, the more you realise energy's everywhere.
Yeah. So when you get up in the morning, are you instantly alert to everything? Like, have you got voices straight away?
Oh no, I'm switched off. So I'm switched off now.
Right.
So I turn it on and turn it off. You have to, otherwise, again, the energy. There's too many spirits. It's like leaving your phone on and going, oh, anyone want to call me any time of day? You know, you put your phone on do not disturb, don't you, if you don't want anyone to call you?
Right.
Or you turn notifications off. So it's the same with a spiritual gift. You have to turn it off.
So how do you have to constantly turn it off, or
Yeah.
do you only turn it on when you want it to
So I
work
turn
for
it
you?
on when I'm like connecting for people or myself.
And how
So
do you do that?
So in the morning, that's what I get up really early in the morning. I'm like one of them early birds. And I used to hate mornings. Like I used to be the one that'd be getting out of bed and be like grumpy till about 11 o'clock and moody. But I love getting up now. The more spiritual you are.
Do you not think that comes with age?
Oh, it could be.
Because
I
used to be like that.
Yeah.
And now I'm an early bird.
My children are older now, so I think when you've got little kids,
Yes.
anyone's got little kids, God, when I take my hands off to you, they're hard work, aren't they? And obviously they're up at the crack of dawn.
Yes.
And then by the time they've gone to bed, you don't even know who you are. So I think you do kind of get more energy back as they get older. So maybe that's what it is as well.
Yeah.
But I love waking up. Like I love getting up in the morning. I love the start of a new day. My husband thinks I'm insane. So I'm like, oh, it's the start of a new day. I can't wait. Let's get up. So I get up and I go downstairs about 5 with my journal, my meditation, like my crystals and my meditation practices. And I just sit and meditate with a candle lit, and I put on YouTube like nature sounds.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I connect into spirit and I go through my intentions for the day, and
At
I love
5
it.
a.m.?
Yeah, 5 a.m. I couldn't be happier.
And at that point then,
It's
because
mad.
you're connecting, is anything coming to you then?
Yeah. So that's how I've become successful, because I just follow what the guidance is and we co-create together. Say what I think I want, which is usually only a fraction of what you're able to achieve. And then I say, what else do you think I should do? I give you permission to guide me. What other guidance have you got for me? And then I've got long-term clients, so I check in on all them. Is there anything they need? And is there any alerts or anything I need to make or create or message them about? I don't, obviously. I'll wait till about 6:30 to message them.
Yeah.
And then we go from there.
So your guides,
Yeah.
do you know who they are?
Yes.
And can you tell, do you mind just saying like what kind of things they tell you?
So they're quite brutal. They're not really soft, airy, fairy clouds in the sky. They're very to the point. So if you've ever had a friend that's really bold.
That's me. I'm the bold friend.
But that's brilliant. But don't you think people like that?
Yeah.
Like a straight talker, they like to know where they're like where they stand and where they sat with you.
They do. When it suits them.
Yeah.
People like a bold talker when people can go, right, I'm going to ask you something now. They know they're going to get the honest truth from me. So sometimes they don't want to know, they don't ask.
Oh, really?
I think so. Because I can't hide stuff. And
yeah,
I wouldn't say something without like feeling it, do you know what I mean? So yeah, go on, how brutal are they then?
So they're really brutal, and I quite like that. I quite like the brutality. I'm a tough cookie, I can take it, and I think, oh, okay. And so I don't mind that, but they are very direct. They're very to the point. They change as well. So as you grow and as you evolve, they change, but you do have one consistent guide.
Right.
So that has been with you since birth, and then additional guides come along depending on what you're going through. And there's no warning that one will go. Like you could wake up, you can get to know one and wake up, and then all of a sudden you've got a new guide and you're like, oh God. And the first time it happened, I was a bit like, well, what have I done? Where's he gone? And I want him back, because you get familiar with people. And it's like me saying to you, oh, we're friends. And then you go, right, Katie, I'm sorry, we're not friends anymore. But I found this lovely lady called Sue. We're going to put her here now. She's your friend. It's like, well, I don't know, Sue. Who is Sue? Like, I don't know if
my therapist.
Don't make me laugh. But that's what they're like, literally. And so it's quite, at first I was a bit like, what on earth am I going to do with this? How am I going to communicate with this guide? And what does this guide want from me? And then over time you get used to it, because you know that with that guide becomes something bigger, like an up level. There's something around the corner you're not prepared for, or you're not ready for, you don't know about yet.
Oh.
So I always think, oh, what's coming now?
Well, you've got all the 5 senses, so you can see them, yeah?
Yeah.
And, we had that chat on the phone. Do you remember when I said to you, like, sometimes they arrive at inappropriate times? And you said sometimes you've stopped at the road and gone to let someone pass in front of your car. There's no one there because it's a spirit. People are bibbing the horn.
I really give people road rage because they must think I'm insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, oh, God. And then I say, we have a staff meeting, like, please stop doing that. You know, obviously, I've got to make sure that I'm safe on the road because someone could have gone into the back of me.
Yeah.
So
with switching it off,
yes.
Does that switch off seeing them as well?
Yes, it switches off everything unless there's something I'm in danger or there's something wrong.
Right.
In which case I get an alert, like a bell. So it's like an itching or again, tinnitus in your ear. Or I'll get a thought. And if very, very rarely will they come in and say, you need to do this or you need to phone this person. If they do, I'm like, oh God, what's wrong? So they tend to do that with my children.
Right.
So my daughter was really ill about 18 months ago. She was at uni. And I just knew she wasn't well. I just could feel it. And they just said, I just knew something was up, but I kind of thought, oh, maybe she's gone out and partied too much. She's got a bad hangover. So they're at uni, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then I heard, you need to call her. She's not well. And I was like, okay. So I rang her and I said, are you okay, darling? And she said, Mum, I don't feel very well. And I said, I know, I've just had my alerts. And she's like, oh, you freaked me out with your alerts. And she looked at me on the camera and on FaceTime and she got like yellow around her eyes. Long story short, she got glandular fever that attacked her liver. And she ended up in like this disease unit, isolated for ages. She was really, really ill and it was touch and go for a while.
Oh my God.
But I just knew. And I just literally threw all my stuff in a bag and just went straight to the uni and was gone I was there within 40 minutes.
Yeah, so in that case, it was urgent and
yeah, so that's
switched
the
on or
only
off
time
that you were finding that
yeah,
out.
but a lot of people get resistant, mediums, to switching off because they worry they're going to miss something. And I'm like, and I tell people, and I hope this goes to lots of people, please switch off because the more you switch off, the better your gift becomes. It's like a phone. If you turn your phone off, it saves the battery. So you're more charged. And so staying on just in case something happens isn't beneficial. You always get an alert if something is very, very dangerous.
How easy is it to switch off? You've obviously mastered it.
It wasn't at first. It's like spin class. You know, the first time you do spin class, you want to die, don't you? And you can't feel your bum for days after.
Yeah.
But after a while, you get used to it. And you get eased into it and you feel like, oh, I could do 2 classes back to back. So it's a strength and a skill and it's a muscle. It's something you have to find a way that switches off for you and then enhance that and build on it.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of people say to me, I'm very much in tune with this world. I very much believe in it. I love it. Some people are not, are they?
No.
Some people are very much like, oh God, that's crap or whatever.
Yeah.
But quite a large portion of people that I've met have said, I'm scared of having a reading in case they tell me something bad.
And people do. Like that. That's a really real and I would say realistic fear because people do. They tell you awful things.
So have you had to deliver some bad news to people?
No, I won't do it because I think you've got to have boundaries. Like I don't think it's just because I can read someone's energy and mind and their future doesn't mean I should. Like I was thinking you've got to have permission and boundaries. You know, there's some things people don't want you to know and everyone should be able to have privacy regardless. And I don't feel comfortable with things like knowing if you're going to die or, you know, the date of death or if you're going to lose your child and you're pregnant. I don't like to know things like that. So I always make sure that I'm closed off and I say, we have terms and conditions, me and Spirit. So they know. So I'm like, and I get all my students to do this, like, don't like sit there and let them just tell you anything. What are you comfortable with? Be clear on your boundaries and be aware. So I had a live event where a guy came through, had been murdered. He was only young. He was only in his 20s. And he showed me what had happened. He said, I've been murdered. And I said, okay, darling. I thought, oh God, this is going to be heavy. And who in the room is it? It's like, my fiance's over there. Well, it was dark because the lights are on you, so you can't see. I was like, where? He's like, to the left. I looked over to the left and I could see this in very faint, like this little lovely blonde young girl. And I was looking and trying to see her. And I said, her there? And he was like, yeah, that's her. And I said, what happened to you? So I can give her the detail. And I thought, I don't want to see him being murdered.
No.
Like, oh my God.
Would you be able to see that?
If I allowed it, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't want to. So I said, no, just show me. So all he showed me was him lying on the floor and the faces of the people above him. That was it. But that was enough.
Yeah.
It was,
Did you tell her?
I said, have they been brought to justice? Because I can see them and see their faces. And she said, yeah, they've been brought.
Oh my
And I
God.
told my mum, I said, I could see their faces. She went, well, if you hadn't been brought to justice, you can't go off and share that. You've got to be safe. And I was like,
Well, actually, that's a good point, because have you ever had any information come to you about a crime that's actually still live?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you do with that?
Well, the police, you were in the police, weren't you?
Yeah?
They don't
They don't want to know.
They don't want to know.
No, of course they
I
don't. But
knew-
I would want to know if I. Obviously, I wouldn't be in charge. You know, I weren't an SIO or anything
Yeah.
like that, so it wouldn't be down to me. But I'd actually be really interested.
They're just not. They don't. But obviously, it can't be evidential in court, can it? Obviously,
No,
a
it
psychic
can't.
there.
But surely you could sort of somehow
Well, I
get
could
the
have
info.
took them. So there was a boy, I won't say the name, but there was a boy that went missing a while ago, and I knew exactly where he was. And so, and I described it, and I said, right, family, so all my family down, this is where this person is, and this is what's happened.
Yeah.
This is what he was wearing, and I'm telling you all now so that when they find him, it's kind of like there. And I messaged who did I message? I did message someone that was doing like a campaign. I can't remember what it was. And I said, I think I know where they are. I don't want any press, don't want any coverage. I just want to be able to tell the parents,
Yeah.
you know, maybe lead them to it. And then obviously once they get there, they can collect evidence. I mean, I'm not a police officer. I'm presuming if you find somebody, you can collect evidence, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a scene, isn't it? If someone's found in that location, that becomes a scene.
But it doesn't matter how you find it, does it? Like,
No, and I think this is the thing, isn't it? Because you say it can't be used in court, but once you've been alerted to something, you can't unknow that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, you can send people and do the forensics or whatever they do.
Yeah.
So that can all be substantial, but how you actually found the body, like, it doesn't matter. The body's there, isn't it? So
Please tell me that you were right.
yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Did were the family receptive?
Nobody contacted me. I think everyone wants to think if someone's missing, they're still alive, and I get that.
So that person's been found now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm
everything
not saying, yeah.
No, but but what you said to your own family.
Yep.
Ahead of that.
To the T.
Really?
To the T. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps.
I know.
Is that my spirit?
Yes, they're here.
They're here with me.
If it goes cold suddenly or goes really warm suddenly,
Yeah,
spirit.
I'm cold.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because I think personally we should use skills like that more often.
I agree. Because if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's not cost them anything, has it?
Exactly.
You know, you can send one person out there or look at it quickly.
Would you go there? Would you have gone there?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want anyone kind of following and going, here's the camera. Like, 'cause the press get all over these things, don't they?
I know.
I just think it's someone's life. Have some, like,
You know, if you get
dignity.
that again, tell me and I'll go.
Okay, I will.
Tell me and I'll go. And then
Yeah.
I'll just say, oh, well, I'll just deal with it after.
Just joggers and
Yeah.
people walking their dogs and, you know, all sorts of different people find bodies, don't they?
Because
So
imagine that was your child.
I know.
You know that feel, right, you've lost your purse before. Remember
Yeah.
or your phone or your keys. You know, you're constantly looking for something
Yeah.
and that feeling that you can't shake. Imagine that being a child.
Oh, don't. I think that's why I feel it so much, because
Yeah.
it's like
But
being a mom.
If that was me and my child was missing or
Yeah.
whatever, I'd want someone with a skill like yours
Yeah.
to help me. And I know some people aren't in tune with it and think,
Yeah.
oh no, don't want to or whatever. But if that is actually, if you're leading them to their child or their loved
Yeah.
one, surely it's a good thing. You're not doing it, you're only doing it for the good.
So am I allowed to name a case? Am I allowed to? Yeah. So the Madeleine McCann case.
Yeah.
So I did the same there.
Did you?
And and then I saw the documentary where they said, I mean, they must have been inundated.
The one on Netflix?
Yeah, I think it was on the
I've seen that.
Netflix. And she said, we've had so many people and psychics and they totally disregarded. And I thought, well, I can imagine they probably had about, well, can you imagine how many?
Such a high profile case,
And
wasn't
all
it?
these different opinions and thoughts. Maybe they just thought none of them are consistent, so there's no truth in it. So, but I just always think if you're trying to find somebody or you're trying to solve something, surely just take anything you can
Yeah.
to and then whatever you can't use, if you're a good detective, surely you should be able to find the evidence elsewhere anyway, piece
Yeah.
it together.
I think I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I do you remember the Nicola Bulley case? I was obsessed with that. Do you remember?
Is she the lady in the river?
Yeah.
Yes.
My friend Lewis at work, I don't know if he listens to this, and if he does, he'll be laughing now. But I was obsessed with that. Because she was missing, wasn't she, for like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And she'd gone through the menopause and the dog was roaming around the river and her phone was on the bench. Do you remember? She was connected to a work call and I was like, this is blowing my mind. Where is this woman? And I think a psychic person, I can't remember if it's a lady or a man, got in touch with the family. I'm sure they did, but she was found in the river, wasn't she? Like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So that's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah. Very similar case.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm well into it.
But I knew she was gone as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
So actually, that's a good point. I suppose you can tell whether someone's
Instantly.
alive or dead.
Instantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And is that just through your spirit telling you? Because
sometimes
they know
the spirit comes and says.
Oh, they come themselves?
Sometimes they're like, I'm not there. And so if I see it on the news, that's probably the only time they can come through as well in an emergency. If I can't watch the news, like I just can't watch it. I find it so overwhelming, like all the stress and negativity it causes. And yeah, anyway, that's another story. But if I see like something heavily in the press that, you know, there's something going on, like the Nicola Bulley case, I sometimes hear them. They'll come forward and tell me.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, I don't want to know anymore. There's nothing I can do. I can't help you. No one takes me seriously.
Yeah, but do you know what? That's really interesting because I've talked previously to quite an extent about how being and working in a police environment for 20 years affected my mental health.
Yeah.
And when I left, it took me quite a long time.
Yeah.
And actually, this is very in tune with what you're saying, to switch off.
Yeah.
Because I'd left and a murder would happen.
Yeah.
And I'd see it on the news and I'd think, oh, my team are on duty now, so they'll get that case. And you start going through what they would be doing. It took me ages to switch off from it and think, yeah, not there anymore. Don't need to worry about that anymore. But like you were just saying, watching the news and how you don't like watching the news, it can become quite stressful because we can't stop it.
No.
And all this bad stuff that happens, I'm quite like that now. I don't really read the news, watch the news, because I kind of just feel I'm in my own little bubble.
Protect your energy.
And I feel like, because there were times when I used to be obsessed with the news. I was really obsessed with terror attacks at one stage of my life. And I think, you know how when you're quite stressed out and very anxious, some things manifest. Some people might get quite extreme OCD when they're stressed, you know, and everything's got to be clean because that's the way they project that stress or anxiety. For some reason, at a particular time in my life, I used to be obsessed with the news. When I say obsessed, I used to refresh it constantly.
Oh, God.
I was obsessed with there being a terror attack. I was petrified of there being a terror attack.
Yeah.
I had quite a lot of therapy about this and about hypothetical worries and how you can have a practical worry, like the engine management light coming on in your car that you've got to do something about, or a hypothetical worry, like a terror attack that you can do nothing about, and how you deal with them. And I'm really good at it now. It's taken a long time. But the news, I was so overexposed to children being abused, people being murdered, domestic violence, and such badness in the world that it manifested really badly in me. So now I don't like to look at the news because I think I can't do anything about it. And if the more you look at it, the more it stresses me. It makes me sad.
Don't you think there should be a channel to also be like the happy news? Like all the good things people do in the world and all the good deeds people do.
Yeah.
There's some incredible people out there that do amazing things.
Yeah.
And we never hear from it.
No, because the mainstream media don't want to push that because it's not on their agenda.
But I do think obviously, tragedy and shocking things grab attention, don't they? But I do think there should be some things like, look how good the world is as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because some people that are elderly, that absorb so much of it, they stop wanting to go out. They think something awful's going to happen to them.
I know.
And like you said, if someone's got mental health issues or going through a tough time, the last thing they need to see is the news. Like, because it just embodies into them more tragedy and more stress.
Yeah. And if you do, I mean, Facebook's just as bad, isn't it now? Because you see, there was someone, there was an attempt robbery on our estate last week and it was on Facebook, and then being admin of the WhatsApp group, I put it into the chat so that the community could see what had happened. It wouldn't stop me going out, but it would stop some people.
Yeah, of course it would.
You know, nothing would stop me doing what I'm doing, but for some people they'd think, oh, you know, and they might not have been out all week and they'll read that and think, oh, I was going to go out tomorrow, I'm not going to bother now.
Yeah.
You know, but I think, like you say, the happiness.
I think sometimes I say to people that get quite obsessed with like news and world and war, I always say, like, yes, those things are very real. We can't turn a blind eye to all of it. You know, people will get abused, people will get hurt, there will be tragedies in life. But what you can do is focus on your world, which sounds really obsessed even. but it's not. So if you can look after you, make sure you're the happiest version of you can be, the most fulfilled, healed, contented, face those fears, grow yourself. If you do that and work with your spiritual team and manifestation, it has a ripple effect. If everyone did that, the world would be unstoppable. The world would be a totally different place.
Yeah, I agree. You just saying about people not wanting to go out and stuff like that, and people seeing the bad, and it scares them. I was thinking about this when I was walking the dog this morning. I don't know why I was thinking about it, but there's been times in my life where I may have had to do house-to-house inquiries in really rough areas of Birmingham or the West Midlands. Some people might not even want to go to that area, and you think, oh God, I've got to go and do some house-to-house in wherever. And you know, the majority of people whose door you knock on are lovely. And it makes you feel really bad and quite judgmental, because you might get one door that are quite anti, but the majority of them just want they want peace, don't they, and happiness. They want to live in a decent area. Most people are hardworking and just want to have a peaceful life. And that's opened my eyes more to, you know, there is so much good. It's only the small minority that let the side down.
There's so many good people, and the small minority are just unhealed. They've just got trauma, and they're responding to trauma and whatever life they're conditioned into.
Yeah. Right, I want to know about whether it can be taught and how it can be nurtured, the skill.
So absolutely.
If you've got it as a baby, as we all have, and it goes, how can we get it back?
So I blocked mine out. When the age of about 15, I started partying, because back in those days you could go out without, like, you know, stringent checking of your age. So I was out, I was partying, I drank a lot to try and kind of drown out the noise and just be normal. So I felt so abnormal. So I literally tried to block it out. I used to go to sleep to rave music, and like terrible I was. And so I'd be out from like a Wednesday to a Sunday, and I'd have the time of my life. Like, I never regret those years. They were brilliant.
Course,
But then as the alcohol, I tried to block it out, but then as the alcohol increased, it's like the veil between this world and that world becomes thinner.
Right.
And so I'd end up with more messages. So it ended up backfiring me on some nights if there was like a strong spirit there that wanted to get a message to someone. So so that's just interesting, because most people can block it out because you've got free will. So you either get it blocked out consciously or through substances, or you do it through like just kind of just drowning out the noise, like through busyness and through keeping yourself out of like silence. And, you know, it can be really detrimental, because when you go into that blocking out of spirit, you think you're doing yourself a favor, but actually all you're doing is detaching yourself from expansion and another world. You become desensitized to like nature and beauty, and you're not as grateful for things. You don't realize, you know, you're always thinking, you're responding to the here and now. Like, I can see the people that do it, like they're very responsive to drama. They're very responsive to kind of tragedy around them. They're not really looking for any good in the world. They don't appreciate many things in the world and the smaller things. And so you can actually close it off completely. If you're a natural psychic, it's very difficult to do that. Usually you have to use like alcohol, drugs, or, you know, complete busyness of the mind.
Right.
So that's what I did. I wasn't like an alcoholic, but I did party a lot.
Yeah.
So I had a great time. I loved those years. And so it wasn't until I was 23 and had a near-death experience that I had to just take it seriously. So if you're a natural psychic, you will be able to block it out. But there'll come a point where it will come back and kind of spirit will go, well, all right, you've had your time. That's enough now. And you'll get what I call like an angel cloud, where everything in your life will stop working. You'll get blocked every time you try and progress, and they'll make you come and face it. So the people who've got all 5 senses activated are meant to work in that industry. So either in healing or like mediumship or whatever type of coaching maybe, something like that, where they give to others and they serve others. And if you don't listen to that, you'll be made to listen in some way.
Wow.
And I was the most stubborn person ever, so I didn't listen. And we had a big battle for a few years.
So presumably then, you know, the party days up until your early 20s, had you done normal jobs, normal work?
Yeah, so I never really knew what I wanted to do. I just kept saying I've got no talents, got no skills, wasn't that good at school, I wasn't able to concentrate because I didn't sleep properly, because I was always awake with spirits around my bed every night. So I found it really hard to I'd be like this, like, at the desk. It's like if you're tired, you can't take in information.
Yeah.
So they'll get in my report, she's a dolly daydreamer. She just stares out the window. And it wasn't like ADHD or anything. It was just complete fatigue, just so
knackered?
tired. Yeah.
What were they doing around the bed? Like talking
Oh,
to you?
God, drive me insane.
Have you seen Ghost?
Yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Ghost, Carl?
Ghost.
The film?
Patrick Swayze.
No.
And he's lying in bed, he's going, oh, I'm Memory the 8 Fire, Memory the 8 Fire. Have you not seen it?
You haven't seen Ghost?
I've never watched Ghost.
I've had a spirit like him.
Please watch it tonight. Please watch it.
It's so good.
I love, Whoopi Goldberg in that.
Oh, she's brilliant, isn't she?
Only-
My friends call me Oda Mae Brown.
You have seen it?
Yeah.
Because Willie Lopez, at the beginning,
How many times have you seen it?
a million.
Same. I've been to watch the theatre show. of
Yeah.
it.
Willie Lopez kills, what's his name in it?
Sam
Sam?
Wheat. Sam
Kills Sam.
Wheat.
And Molly is Sam's partner, and Whoopi Goldberg comes to not like, she doesn't
She's
want
like
to.
a fake psychic, isn't she? And then he literally comes through
She's
to her. Yeah.
But he gets into her body. It's brilliant.
It's channeling.
And she goes, Molly, you in trouble, girl. You know that bit?
Molly, I said this last night actually on a training I was doing. I was going, Molly, you're in danger, girl. That's how like direct spirit are. Like that's how they come out with it.
Oh, I love it. So you've had one like that? Oh, that'd drive
God.
you insane.
It was hilarious.
No,
It was
you're
quite
knackered.
funny. He came through, he got through all my barriers. I don't know how he did it. And he was such a lovely man. And I actually miss him. And I was there, like, I was cooking dinner and we've got a drawer with all the pans underneath the hob. And I pulled a pan out and I don't know what had happened to this pan, but it must have gone on the gas and all the handles like melted, they kind of set fire. And I was like, why would anyone put that back in the cupboard? The kids. And I was like, for God's sake. And then I heard, you need some new pans, don't you? And I was like,
Could you see him?
no. And I was like, what the hell? Who was that? And it stopped me because I wasn't open. So it got me. And he went, it's only me. I'm here for my wife for tomorrow. Don't mind me. But I thought I'd just hang around. And I was like, how did you get through? And anyway, then the next day I was like, I looked at my calendar. I was like, who is he here for? And he went, there she is. See your name. And I was like, right, okay. I opened up. I couldn't wait for this call. I was like, oh God, this is going to be like next level reading. And I looked at her and she went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's here, isn't he? I said, he has been with me for the past 24 hours. Is he driven you mad? I said, he has not stopped talking to me the whole time. And she went,
my God.
And he was literally, it was like, her words and her review was, it was like being on FaceTime with my husband. That's what she said.
Have you ever had any that you can't, that they want someone to reach them and they haven't come?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame, isn't
I
it?
know. It's because sometimes the grief's so hard for the person who's living that they put this like protective bubble around themselves so the spirits can't come through. So the spirit thinks it's not the right time or the energy isn't strong enough.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, it's sad because, I mean, I think if I lost someone, touch wood, like lost someone close to me, I'd first thing
You're
I'd do.
traumatised, wouldn't you?
But the first thing I'd do, I'd want them to reach me.
You just want to know where they've gone.
Yeah.
Like, where are they? Where they're gone? Are they okay? That's all you want to know,
Yeah.
isn't it? And do they feel okay as well?
Yeah. So on the teaching then.
Sorry, yeah, I'm going off on a
because
tangent.
I'm just actually thinking about myself there. Can I teach myself?
Yeah, so with if you've got everyone's got a sense activated. If you've got all 5, you're a natural. If you've got, everyone's usually got about 1 or 2. Very, very low people have like very disconnected, have only got 1. But most people have got 2 to 3.
Right.
So 2 to 3 senses. All you need to do is home in on those. We need to know which ones you've got. And then we home in on those and then we use those through a spiritual practice and take you through a connection process. So it's fun. It's so much fun. Like everyone thinks, oh God, it's going to be so deep and heavy. It's actually really fun. We have fun with them. You get to know your guides, you get to communicate, and you start to have like little kind of challenges with them, and you give them little tasks to do and little communications, and it's just absolutely incredible what you can do.
So can you? Because if I thought, right, I want to get all 5 of these on the go now, can I?
You can. But the problem that delays that is that if you've got seeing and feeling, then people go, oh, and I'm like, oh, you've got seeing and feeling. This is great. We can work with those. And then after about 3 weeks, they're like, but why am I not hearing them? I want to hear spirit. And I'm like, stop focusing on what you haven't got. Focus on what you have got and accelerate. And the amount of times I say that, they still go back and back and have to keep being really firm with them and saying, you've got to let it go, and it'll come. Right. But focus and be grateful for what you do have.
Right.
It's like, you know, you've got this amazing studio access, but you could be like, I want a bigger square footage. I want 4 Carls. Why haven't I got 4 Carls?
Yeah.
You've got Carl. Be grateful. You've got
Yeah.
Carl. Like,
I will say one thing on that. I am very grateful. You know,
good.
I don't mean to be.
Yeah.
That sounds really weird. I do mean to be, of course I do. But every day, I feel like, and do you know what? It's so. This is how minor. I get to the top of my stairs and I'm walking down to put my kettle on in the morning, and as I'm walking down my stairs, I think, I love this house.
Oh,
You know, just
like,
and I don't
full
know
of
if it's because it's
gratitude.
taken me a long time to get it on my own.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that, because I've had some hard times, you know, being homeless and whatnot. So I feel so grateful for it. But like, I do feel grateful. So I mean, 1 Carl's enough for me.
Bless him.
But yeah, I feel like I'd really be interested in, because I'm not sure what skills I've got. Like I said, I do feel like I've got an inner voice that guides me.
I think you're empathetic, and I think you could see spirit.
I can't see anything, because I
Yeah.
mean, I would hope I could in future, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything, not that I know of, but I'd love to.
I think you have. I think you've got that ability.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to.
It's amazing.
I
It's
want it to come
amazing.
to me. My mum has, as if she's still got it,
Yeah.
but she's seen things in the past.
Ah, okay, that's good.
So
Has she acknowledged it? And
I think it scared her.
yeah. Again, because your mum's, what you were saying, she's in her 60s.
Late 60s now, yeah.
So obviously that's very similar to my mum and dad's age. And that generation, obviously, I was born in the 80s.
Yeah,
And so
me too.
back then, it's very much a case of you didn't talk about spirit. It's only the last like 15 years. Well, not even that long, really. I'd say the last 7, 8 years, maybe, not even 15. I don't actually know. Went to America first. Everyone started finding spirituality cool. You know, meditation was cool. Everyone started wearing crystals. And, you know, there's some people that you would not expect in a million years that I can't believe are spiritual, that are so into it, you know, that are very much in like sporting careers and, you know, just very practical life people, like solicitors, doctors, and they're really into spirituality.
Yeah.
And they appreciate what it does for you as in yourself, your body, your mind. Also, like, they're intrigued by the spirit world.
I'm very much so. I've got crystals next to my bed. I like meditation. You know, I'm very much open to it. You talked about America there, because you're quite a hit in America, aren't you?
They love me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the accent or what, but they love me.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So do you have a lot of clients over in America
I
then?
do. Got a lot of clients in America.
Talk me through that, how it works now, your business on a daily basis.
So it's changed. So it got to the point when I first started out, I was working so many hours because I was just trying to get as many people in for readings. I felt like it was my duty to serve the world. That there's only me out there. There's only me that can do this. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I just did it and just booked as many people in as I could and just kind of gave as much as I could. But then I started to feel weird after the readings, because there was some people that needed a little bit of extra support, and I knew that they didn't quite get what the guidance was. Like, there was things they needed to implement, there was changes, and they needed someone to kind of guide them through that process and give them a little bit more. And not to make them reliant on you or reliant on spirit, but just a short period of time, just to get to where they want to get to. And so I started to feel weird about leaving them. And I didn't like it. It was like I'd left my child at nursery with no instructions.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking, well, how can I help people more on a bigger basis, longer term? So I started offering Spirit School, which is the training to help people with their spiritual gifts, help them manage their energy. And that's gone off the scale. It's amazing and it's brilliant. I'm live in there twice a week, so I do that. And it's like a private group.
Yeah.
And then I have private clients where they work with me one-to-one to help with usually their businesses and their life purpose. They're people that are change makers, the ones that are here to do something in all different industries, but to give back in some way. And so I've got like builders, I've got scaffolders, companies, I've got people that work in coaching industry, I've got people working finance, I've got doctors, I've got film stars, I've got people who are authors of well-known books, I've got celebrities, like loads of different people that give something in the world. So they're all very different, but they all carry so much they've all got the same heart.
Right,
it's really
yes.
interesting. They've all got the same heart energy and I can feel it, and that's how I know they're one of my clients.
Oh, wow.
So I started offering longer term membership and practice like with me.
Right.
And so that's evolved now to traveling. So I started to realize that people that wanted a big change quickly, wanted to kind of quantum leap their life, if I took them away out of their home environment into somewhere that was their natural place. So like some people are attracted to the sea, some people are attracted to like mountains and fields.
Yeah.
If I place them in that environment outside of their home and made them do like an intensive with me, so sometimes it's not easy like for them because I'll keep
But it's
them.
not easy for you, is it?
No, I love it.
Oh,
So
really?
I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with it. So because I can see it changing, I can see the pattern of energy changing around them.
Does it drain you?
No, because I've worked really well at managing my energy.
Ah.
It's like I'm like a fine-tuned athlete, not in the body, but in the
I need to
energetic
do
body.
that. I need to do that a bit more
Yeah.
because I feel like I get quite drained. I feel like my social battery gets drained.
I do get tired. I get
Yeah.
tired when it's mundane.
Ah, yes.
So if I've had too much mundane with strangers, like just, you go to social events and I do some things like my husband and go with him and support him, I can get a bit like drained after those because to me, I want to talk about the meaning of life. I want to go deep. I'm not very good with the casual chat.
So you can take someone and go by the sea.
Yeah. So I take them, put them outside of their current environment, put them into a land of expansion for them. So I've just come back from Switzerland. So I went to this beautiful lake in Switzerland with this lady, and you just literally open them up and heal them and like mold all of their like inner wounds into more of a positive stance. And then it's really hard to explain because it's different for everyone. And then help them grow and come up with a long-term plan for them.
Yes. So alongside the psychic ability, that's also a bit of a coaching business, isn't it? Is it a coaching business? A life coach?
I'd say it's a little bit of, yeah, probably. I've never really had a life coach. But yeah, it is probably a little bit like life coaching, but it's not me. It's directed from spirit. But I would say it definitely includes manifestation. Definitely.
Right. Because we talked about on the phone, The Secret.
Yes.
And was your opinion of The Secret a good? Yeah, I remember.
I'm a bit mixed with it.
Yes.
I think it leaves out quite a lot. But it's great as a first start for someone.
Because I'm very much a starter, I'd say. I'm open to, like, everything, manifestation and empathy. Kim Pierre, she came on and did a domestic violence episode with me. She's very much an empath and talks a lot about things like this.
Oh.
Bob Proctor and
I love Bob Proctor. God rest his soul.
Yeah, he sort of coached her. I think she's doing something with his son at the moment. Like, yeah, some sort of guidance. I'll have to refresh my memory of what it is. But so that's not a one-off, is it? That you've not with that lady in Switzerland. That's not like a one-off. This is like a long-term.
So she's in a long-term package, but I do offer one-off ones. But they are very much about they've got to have. I do an assessment because sometimes if you shift someone and then actually they need longer with you, you've really done them an injustice. So I have to see what level of transformation they need.
So what typically do people come to you with?
Typically, they want to know they're on the right path. Yeah. People really get worried they're on the wrong path, and quite rightly so. Time's a commodity you don't get back, and we give it away like it's nothing, and we're like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'll spend hours with you and I'll sit there. But is it worth your time?
Yes.
Like, is it effective for you? So people do worry, am I on the right path? And I think if you're asking that question, you're missing something.
Yeah. Because when you were talking then, I asked myself that question in my head and that voice came, you're on the right path.
See?
Yeah, that voice came to me. What the spin and the podcast is my passion.
Yeah.
I've got a day job. I don't talk about it on air. But my boss said to me recently, I didn't get a promotion, and he was like, Hayley, this is not your passion. We know what your passion is. I've dropped a day working there. I'm already thinking about dropping that second day because, and I joke about it at work. I say to them, this is my side hustle. I'm in a really important
the job's a side hustle, not the podcast.
Not the podcast. This is my passion, and the spin's my passion.
And you're very good at it.
We'll be sat in a boardroom having a really important meeting, and I'll go, this is just my side hustle. And I'm not even joking.
That's brilliant.
But I know when I asked myself that question, then that voice came, and I've got no doubt. I've got no doubt. But there was times. Here's a typical one. Well, not a typical one, but here's a really good. I was in a relationship a few years ago and it wasn't right. It wasn't right for me and it did hold me back. And I wanted to do this.
Did you know it wasn't right for you?
Deep down, yeah.
Yeah.
Deep down, I knew, but I think I wanted it to work. We do, don't we?
Yeah, I suppose when you invest your time in something and you go past a certain age, you do kind of want things to work. Yeah. It's that, better the devil you know is the grass greener.
Yeah, and it weren't like mean, it's a few years, you know.
Yeah.
I was married for a long time, and it was after my marriage. It's a few years I was in this relationship, and deep down, I knew it wasn't right, and it was holding me back.
Yeah.
And when that came to an end,
You expanded.
oh my God, straight away started teaching spin.
It's quite interesting you say that, actually, because a lot of people say, how do you do like spirit world and stuff and spiritual expansion manifestation if you've got a partner that isn't into it and is very much like limited mindset, doesn't want to expand? And I think that, again, it goes back to you can isolate yourself. Like what you were saying about when you, the very start of this podcast, when you put your headphones on, you went into the content. It's like if you can isolate your own energy and just kind of not blank that person out, but just focus on making you the best version of you and just have blinkers on, you'll be surprised how much everything else around you matches up to that level.
Yes.
So my husband's not into spirituality at all.
Oh, I wanted to ask you that.
I love it. I love that he's not.
Why?
Because I can be a real human. Like, I know it sounds weird.
Yes.
And he doesn't want anything from me. He just wants to be with me.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when you've got a gift, they want a lot from you, and he doesn't.
But does he believe what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. He does believe in it.
Yeah.
But he's scared. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Does he not?
No. He'll just say, how's business going? You okay? And I'll share things with him and go, oh, do you know, I've got this or this reading and this happened. And he goes, oh, yeah, great. And if he's out for dinner and he's stuck at the table with me and I'm like, you never guess what this spirit said. And he's looking around like, are they with us now?
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever told him anything?
Funny. No, I don't want to, because I just think it's his privacy.
Right.
So I massively respect people's privacy. Okay. And I really disagree with the psychics that go around tapping people on the shoulder and telling them things randomly. I just think, no.
So what if you knew something?
I just don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, unless a person asks.
Right,
yeah.
Brilliant, okay.
I just don't think you should.
Okay.
Maybe not everyone's got the same opinion.
What about your girls then? Are they?
Oh, yeah, so they're psychic, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. Mm.
How many senses we talking?
Well, very much so. So my middle daughter definitely feels and sees, and my older daughter definitely sees and hears. She used to get really freaked out by it. But yeah, they're not into this kind of world. They wouldn't come to like a spiritualist church, or they've come to one of my events before, but they wouldn't go and do readings or study it. But they definitely got the gift. My youngest one, possibly not so much, but you'd love her. She's so cute and she's so funny, but she's quite aware of how people feel. But I'd say she probably would say, if she was describing herself, she'd say she's empathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really interested in that because, yeah, like I was just saying about that relationship, I think that relationship held me back.
Yeah.
I don't know what, and I do think in certain ways it brought the worst out in me. You know, sometimes some people can bring the best out in you. Some people can bring the worst out in you. Definitely think it was, when I look back on it, I don't have a good feeling. If that makes sense.
But it's good that it happened to you, because if you think it will highlight, you must have had to have that for that reason, to highlight what you don't like about yourself, or what you want to make sure you highlight in the world, or what people receive from you. So I always think there's no such thing as wasted relationships or time, or never have regrets.
No, I agree. And I do think it taught me a lot. But as soon as that relationship came to an end, it was literally within about 8 weeks, I held my first spin class. And ever since then, I've been non-stop. And like the first year was like building up the spin business and expanding that. And then the second year was like nurturing it and then going into the podcast. The third year is going to be taking it online. I know how it's going to unravel, you know, but I feel like...
You can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. I know it's going to happen. Yeah. And you know, when you think manifestation-wise and you envisage.
Yeah.
So... they teach you, don't they, to envisage yourself in that house. Envisage yourself driving that car or in that relationship or on that beach. I do that. I'll be washing up and I do it all the time. I picture myself like living... I went to see a clairvoyant last year.
Yeah.
Didn't know about you then. And Sue. And she said to me, you're going to move house. And I was like, no. Because I just bought my house. Yeah. So I thought she's confused.
Yeah, you've just moved in.
I've just, I've lived there for 11 years, but the mortgage had just completed of me getting it on my own.
Oh, okay.
So when she said that, I was like, no, you got it wrong. Like I've just bought my house actually. And she was like, no, you are going to move
I love the
house."
certainty. No.
She went, "No."
That spirit.
She went, "No, you are."
Yeah.
And she described things to me.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh." I was really like annoyed because I was like, "I've just bought my house." I went, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Yeah, like you're going to move."
Yeah.
And then now, especially because I love my house so much, I feel sad. Like, but then another part of me, like my husband and not my husband, my ex-husband and his new partner have just moved house to a lovely area. And I drove my son to school and we passed the house. I was like, "Oh, it's lovely. It's a really nice, beautiful area." And I thought, "Oh, it's lovely around here." And then I thought, "Oh, I could envisage myself living somewhere like this." But straight away I was like, "Oh, but you love your house."
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm being disloyal."
Oh.
But I know.
I do that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next? Have you got a vision for yourself and your business?
Yeah. So I think there's my plan and the spirit's plan. And I just think, so my plan that I can see now, I just want to activate as many people with their own abilities and help them unlock everything that they're here to do and find their true life purpose and live from that. So that's what I'm going to do through spirit schools. That's where my focus is going to be. And then working with the ones that are the change makers, because it creates the ripple effect. If those people go out and hit lots of different people, they're changing other people's lives. So if they're the leader, they, help other people on a mass scale. So it just creates that ripple effect of change across the world where people become better and happier and more content. And that's the plan. But I have seen myself in LA. I have seen myself there, even though it's burning down and flooding and everything. But I have seen myself over there. Don't know what I'll be doing there. And I can see myself like moving more to the UAE direction. I love Dubai. It's like my soul home. So I can see that type of life happening. And to be honest, I just want to do more of what I'm doing on a grander scale.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
What
Very
does Spirit
grateful.
want you to do?
So spirit, they want me to be on like TV and radio and stuff, but I've got a love-hate relationship with like media.
Okay.
So I don't always think they portray things in the right way. And so, so I'm a little bit not that fussed about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of LA. So you said LA, because this is weird. Since this podcast, I've been connecting with people in America. And Rachel is from Birmingham. Rachel Charles, she's big in the boxing world. And it's mad because I've got a lot of boxing connections and we haven't been connected through any of those boxing connections.
I love boxing.
Well, we've actually, through another very strong female character, we've been introduced to each other. And I think it was the Birmingham connection. Yeah. I think this other lady was like, "Oh, you need to follow Spin Justice because she's from Birmingham." And she got in touch with me. We've been talking. We talk all the time. She lived in Birmingham in Chelmsley Wood, but she moved to LA and she's been there for 35 years.
Wow.
Get this. One of my spinners from Nuffield, in Rubery, where I teach. Yeah.
That used to be my gym.
Yeah, I teach there 4 times a week. So I had, and this gets even weirder, I was doing some filming there. And I'd got regular spinners of mine taking part in filming because I do it to film content and, release it over the course of months. So we're doing a filming session and a bloke walks in. There was a spare bike and he said, "Oh, do you mind if I jump on?" And I was like, "Well, we are doing some filming." And he was like, "I don't mind being in the filming." I said, "All right, fill this form in and jump on." And it was really weird because we were like, when I watched it back, it was like this random bloke who's just turned up and was in the filming. Anyway, he went home. He said to his wife, "I've just taken part in some bizarre spin filming." Introduced her to the spin classes. So now the two of them are now booking in regularly at Nuffield and coming to my spin classes. Long story short, he gets a job in LA. So she says to me, "We're leaving," which is another reason why I want to take it online, because she said to me, "I have searched the internet for a class like yours and I can't find one. You need to start doing this online. We'll pay from America to do these classes." So I was like, okay, it's been on my mind for a while. This is giving me the push. So they've moved to LA. Then Rachel comes into my life from LA. So now I've got Angela and Emil and Rachel, all living really close to each other. So I've connected the two of them. How on earth I'm managing to connect people on the other side of the world, I don't know.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So I've connected them. They've contacted each other. Rachel's showing them round where you can get all like UK tea bags and that and stuff, you know, home comforts.
Make them feel comfy, yeah.
And there's been an earthquake over there. Oh. So Rachel said, I checked in on your friend to make sure she was okay. Because there's been an earthquake.
Nice.
How mad is that? Oh. And I'm talking to these people like all the time and they're on the other side of the world. So when you said LA I was thinking, oh, this has been really like on my radar lately because of these people that I'm talking to.
It's mad how that happens. So like meditation, they told me I would, in meditation, I was like, what can you see for my future spirit? And they're like, you're going to be in LA. And I was like, LA. And then people from LA started booking in, had people like film stars from LA booking for readings and stuff. And I was like, oh, I've had in meditation, I'm going to be in LA. So one day I'll be there. And they're like, anytime you're here, just let us know. We'll hook you up. Everyone's so friendly out there.
Yeah.
We'll look after you. We'll make sure you're okay. We'll introduce you to the right people. And yeah, so really lovely.
Well, they're going to events together. So Rachel's like, I've invited her to a party. I can't remember what it is. And then there's like the British Embassy have a ball thing out there. She's like, I've invited her to that. I'm like, this is brilliant.
Oh, lovely. Maybe we should both move out there.
Yeah, I think this is a sign.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah. So one more question just quickly I've got on that. So, you know, if someone is on the other side of the world, can you still read for them?
Yeah. So
you don't have to be present.
I do literally, not say most, all my readings on Zoom. Right. And I only did that at the start because of the girls being at school when I first started the business. And so it was more of a time thing and obviously a safety thing, not having people, strangers in your home. So, and I was working from home from the kitchen table to start with. Got my own little office now. So, so I just did it all on Zoom. And then lockdown hit and it was so weird because by the time lockdown hit, I was it didn't affect my business at all. I was so lucky because I'd already established everything online. I'd got all the online like apps, everything was all sorted, everything you need, all the lighting, everything, all the stuff that Carl's got over here. And literally it was all fully set up. And so I just excelled and just went even bigger because obviously everybody came online.
Is any of the senses diluted with not being present with that person?
No.
It doesn't matter?
No.
Because that's what I thought, I thought, surely you've got to be connected, in front of that person to feel their energy. But
you are.
Yeah.
Because you're on the screen with them. So as long as you can see, but I can do it from a photo, a palm, an object of theirs. Yeah. So you can use anything.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, it depends on the person, the reader. Some people would need to be there presently just because they prefer that. But yeah, I mean, no, online's fine.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got a feature of the week, which is the Spin Justice of the week.
Yes.
Have you got one? Have you got an injustice or something that you want to talk about?
An injustice. Oh, you did warn me of this and I didn't think of anything. Oh, gosh.
I'm having to think of these every week.
An injustice. Can you give me some examples of what previous people have said?
Well, I'll give you mine if you want.
Go on.
For this week. So I told you about my friend that's a dog walker.
Yeah.
So she covers South Birmingham. And she's walking dogs 8 hours a day. I talk about her a lot on this podcast. But she messaged me, voice noted me the other day. And she went, can I just check something? There's a field by me it is gated, but it's not private property.
Yeah.
I walk my dog there. And I told her about it. And I said, loads of people walk dogs there. So she now does a lot of group walks. So she might have four dogs and she'll take them there and walk around. Anyway, she's walking around there the other day and a man came into the field and directly walked towards her and said, can you control your dogs? And she said, well, you've just approached me. What do you mean, control the dogs? Well, they're like, running around me and trying to jump at me. Yeah, but you've just approached me. This is what she was saying. And he said, I'm a professor. I don't know why I had to tell her that. I'm a professor and I live in this area, which is my area, by the way. And you are over here most days now and you're interrupting my daily walk. Yeah.
Oh.
I was fuming.
Oh,
right.
dear.
When she told me this, I was like, you what? Because we've got the WhatsApp group for the community. And she said, has anything been put? Am I allowed to use this field? She got quite like, oh, God, maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, you'd check, wouldn't you, and be sure.
Am I allowed to use this field? I was like, that is not private property. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Don't you? She's like, well, maybe I should stop coming over here. I went, don't you dare. If anything, go over there more now. And I'm going to go over there more now because who does he think he is with this sense of entitlement that he has got the right to an uninterrupted daily walk. Like, I'm sorry, but if that's what you want, you need to hire your own private land. If you don't want to be interrupted, you've got a dog, you walk your dog, you bump into people. That's, of course you do. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I've talked about it before, you just want to have your headphones in and be in your own world, and you're like, dog's running over someone, you'll pack it in. And it's annoying, isn't it? But I would never say it to the person because I don't feel I've got that sense of entitlement to have, the space to myself.
Exactly.
I was absolutely livid on her behalf. And I was like, how dare he? What's him being a professor got to do with it?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with anything? Doesn't matter who you are. And so anyway, do you get the injustice coming out of me?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't understand the professor thing. But yeah, you are right.
You're just having a walk and you're annoyed that she's there with dogs. And actually, it's a really big field. So you could have walked the other way and completely avoided her.
Yeah.
And your walk would have been well
He's obviously got set in his ways and he's set route.
Yeah. And then he
people
said
do get stuck in their ways.
Yeah, he said something about don't shoot the messenger. And I said his missus has probably sent him down there to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
And she said, well, you've just approached me. And you're actually now interrupting my walk.
Yeah.
So that was my injustice of the week because I was so angry about it.
No, I can see why.
Kept going on about it for days, I did. Like, yeah.
It is annoying, isn't it, when people are like that?
Yeah.
But I always think there's something in that person that's made them that, like, disgruntled and stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be very unpopular and everyone's going to probably hate me in your comments. So I don't know if I should say it.
Say it.
Oh, people who ride their bikes on the road.
Oh, no, I'm with you. You with us, Carl? Yeah.
Do you know what I name them? This is so not spiritual. I'll be honest with you.
Go on.
You can all use it. Call them bobs.
Bobs?
Bastard. Am I allowed to swear?
Of course you are.
Yeah. Bastards on bikes.
Bastards on bikes?
Yeah, they're bobs.
Yeah?
Bobs.
Yeah, don't they get in the way?
They annoy me so much.
Yeah.
And it's because I just think, I mean, there was one down a dual carriageway.
Yeah.
Like you do 70 miles an hour down a dual carriageway and all of a sudden there's a bob.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing? Have you got a death wish? And I always think, oh God. And I think, oh God, because you, as a driver, you've got to be very vigilant, haven't you? And be like, give them the respect to the road. They annoy me, but I always respect them.
Yes.
And always slow down and go around them and everything. And they always wave and say thank you. But I just think, what are you doing on a bypass?
Yeah.
Are you allowed? Are they allowed on bypasses? I didn't think they were.
I don't know. I think they are, yeah.
Are they? I think it's, you might as well sign your death wish.
I don't think you could go on like the Aston Expressway on a bob.
You watch, you'll probably see one.
Yeah, but I think, and I get it because it do irritate me as well. Oh. And I know that's terrible because I've got friends that are cyclists. And
I know, and it's such a lovely thing to do, isn't it? But go down a canal path. Or go on a bike road, like a bike pathway, proper one. But abroad, they're even worse.
Yeah.
So I went to
Berlin. Abroad to do it.
Well, Berlin city, I nearly got took out several times. So going along, and I'm in my own little world, wandering around, and you hear a bell, and I think, where's that bell? And then all of a sudden, zoom, they're passing. You're like, whoa. So they do not slow down; they just go.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, yes, I should obviously be very aware, I'm fully aware of that, but I didn't realise there was that many bikes in that city. Yeah. So they were everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you got any shout-outs?
Shout-outs. Oh, let me think. Can I give like a general one?
Of course you can,
rather than naming people? Yeah, I just think shout-out to all the mums out there, which I know is like very girly thing to do, but anyone that is juggling, caring for other people, whether it be elderly or young, and running a business and, trying to better themselves and trying to be healthy at the same time and be a good wife and everything to everyone. Yeah. Just say, I see you and well done. Keep trying. It's hard,
isn't it?
Keep going.
It's so hard juggling all that.
Yeah.
And, like you say, have you seen that meme of that old woman and she's going like this all over the place and she's like me trying to drink like 2 litres of water a day and answer the PTA emails and all of that. I love that.
I just think shout out to those women. They always make me feel so inspired and I think they're doing a great job. Yeah,
I'd second that and add in the blokes that are doing it as well.
Oh, definitely.
I know some people that are bringing kids up on their own as men, and doing a cracking job. Mine is from my brother. Right, I'm not going to completely get my legs out, but I'm covered in tattoos from there up, and it's.
Are you?
Yeah.
Your whole body as well?
No, just legs.
Yeah.
Got some on my body, and that's my brother. So basically, Rebel Ryan Tattoos. Rebel Ryan, is that his name? Go on my Instagram, you'll find him. Put in Rebel Ryan Tattoos or Rebel Tattoos. I'll just WhatsApp him. He is a tattoo artist. Very, very, creative. I've not got this artistic flair at all. My son's got it, my mum's got it, I've not got it. My nan had it. So when he very first started tattooing, he needed, you start off on like an orange, you go on to like pig skin. We've got a butcher's in our family, so they'd send the pig skin and he'd practice on that. And then he needed, obviously, to start practicing on people. So I was like, right, go on, do what you want.
Oh,
so over
wow.
the years,
What a good sister.
He's practiced, dot work, shading, portraits. I've got a big Harley Quinn. I'm not going to get it out. I'll put a picture on. Big Harley Quinn on my leg. And he's done all of them. But the thing with tattooing, as with most creative businesses, it's peaks and troughs with finances, isn't it? So you get like, people want them for holidays, but then January everyone's skint, or Christmas everyone's skint, so it goes up and down. So he's actually got a daytime job now, because you need to, don't you? But he's still got the artistic flair and still does do the tattoos for people. So if anyone especially in like the Birmingham area, I've referred him to like mates of mine that live in Derby and have come over and all over, in fact further than that, and have come over and had tattoos with him. So anyone that's looking for a tattoo, Rebel Ryan Tattoos.
Do you know I haven't got one tattoo?
I was going to ask you if you'd got any.
No.
You're not?
Not one.
Are you against them, or you just...
My mum, Irish Catholic family.
Okay.
Do not put tattoos on your body.
Yeah.
I will kick you out this house, that
Really?
type of thing, yeah. Really anti-tattoos. And then they were really fashionable, didn't they? Because back in our day, it was just below your back.
Yeah,
the bottom of your
I've got a
spine.
tramp stamp, yeah.
That's what they're called, aren't they? But everyone had one, and I really wanted one. And she was like, no, you can't get one. I thought, oh, God. So I haven't got one. But I do want the word spirit here.
Oh, come on.
But I'm going to do it when I've got my ideal body. So I'm working on that.
Got your ideal body?
No. It's a work in progress. And then I might have spirit written here and just not show her. So hopefully she won't hear this.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I was a bit of a rebel when I was younger.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad went on holiday. I must have been about 17 or something at the time. And they called me from Turkey and they're like, are you okay? And I remember, I said, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Yeah.
And they were like, go on. And I said, I've passed my theory test, for your driving. And they're like, oh, brilliant, well done. And what's the bad news? And I was like, I've had a tattoo while they were on holiday.
At least you gave them a bit of both. Good news, bad news.
Yeah.
Kept it even.
But I was always doing stuff like that. I'd go out and get my nipple pierced. And, do you know what I mean? Just do wild things. So, yes, that's mine. So that wraps up the episode.
Oh, lovely.
It's been so good talking to you.
It's been so lovely. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for giving up your time and coming on.
And
thanks, Carl.
It's been amazing. Thank you, Carl.
If you have a topic that you want to discuss, get in touch at b31spinjustice@gmail.com or via Instagram @spinjustice.